What is up, ladies and gents? How's it going? We're finally through to the legend stage of the Major, and what a roller coaster of emotions this has been for many of us, myself included. I only got my 6 out of 9 on the last day in the last couple of games. I was really hoping on the edge of my seat that I would actually get it done. Unfortunately, Heroic and Astralis stood up when it really was counted, and they did get the W's. But it's important information going through to the legend stage that we discuss what happened in the challenges. Basically, who were the movers, who were the big teams that came out and really showed themselves, and which were the teams that kind of let us down a little bit and maybe didn't perform to the expectations that we had for them. The two teams that obviously stand out from the pack, the 2, 3, and 0 teams, which seems really obvious, but a lot of the time when a team goes through 3 and 0, they've had a couple of games that were maybe quite easy or were kind of layups for them. Maybe a game here or there where the team they're up against had a vast lead and they threw it away, or basically they didn't look exactly flawless. However, FaZe and Copenhagen Flames, they both look fantastic. I mean, you can't take away their performances at all. So let's have a look at the teams they beat to get to this stage. Both teams had plus 20 or more round difference. FaZe had plus 21. Copenhagen Flames had plus 23. FaZe beat Spirit, who went 2 and 3. ENCE and VP. And to put that in context, ENCE and VP both went through 3 and 1. Their only loss was delivered to them by FaZe Clan. Really impressive. Copenhagen Flames, they smashed Astralis in the first game. They then beat Big, and then they take down Heroic 2 and 1 in a best of 3. Very impressive as well from the Flames. Other team that I think deserves a bit of credit here are ENCE and Entropic. I think the two of them performed very highly. I thought Entropic would make it. They did. I had ENCE as my 3 and 0. They narrowly missed out against FaZe. It was a good game though. They at least took FaZe to their limits and showed really what ENCE were capable of doing. And then we have to get to the teams that kind of let us down a little bit and I think underperformed, maybe didn't perform to the level that we expected them to. Mouse, Heroic, and Astralis are the key teams that I'm looking at here. Simply put, none of these 3 teams really install confidence in me at all. They looked shaky. It was a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde performance from the 3 of them. They make it to the next stage, but by the skin of their teeth. I make no mistake. In the legend stage, if they play like this, they are going out. They are not going to make it to the champion stage. The level of CS is significantly about to step up, and it'll make the legend stage very difficult to actually predict properly because there are so many teams that just look that damn good right now. So Heroic, they go through 3 and 2 with only a plus 4 round difference. They win their 2 best of 1s. They have Tyloo first. You know, it's Tyloo. With all respect, if Heroic aren't beating Tyloo, that's definitely a head turner. And it was a close game. If memory serves me correctly, I think that was a 16-12 on Inferno. And although Tyloo have historically been good on Inferno, not necessarily with this lineup, it was a close game and Tyloo could have won it as well. They then beat down on Mouse, who had their own issues on Nuke, and this is really where things started to go pear-shaped because Heroic played 2 best of 3s in a row. I expected if Heroic were going to have problems, it would be best of 1s, and once the best of 3s rolled around, that's where Heroic were really going to come into their own, and that's where they're going to be powerful and polished. It was completely the opposite. They lose to Copenhagen Flames and they lose to Entropic, and both of those are 2-1 scorelines against them. And then in their last best of 3, they're against the Movistar Riders, and the Movistar Riders completely and utterly whiffed this veto, horrifically bad. They set up Heroic to slam dunk them, and they did. Without that, though, against the Riders, I'm not sure Heroic make this. I'm really not sure. And I don't have much confidence in these guys coming through to the next stage. Astralis, they lose their first 2 maps, and then the best of 3s roll around, and it's the Astralis that we know. But there has to be a caveat put down here, because out of their 3 best of 3s that they won in a row, Pain, Godsent, and Spirit. Now, Spirit went through 2 and 3. They got knocked out, I should say, 2 and 3. They looked pretty decent for the most part. They did choke a couple of games, though. It's classic Spirit. They always end up choking on like 14-14 scorelines or whatever. But you beat Godsent, who looked lackluster, and Pain, who at one point looked like they were going to go 0-3. So I can't look at those 2 games and be like, okay, there's the Astralis that we know and love. There's the Astralis that are going to come and defend their championship. I can't really say that. Mouse, up and down. Yes, they win their first game against Sharks, who were very, very lackluster. They lose against Heroic, alright, fair enough. They lose against ENCE, okay, fair enough. But it's really the best of 3s that concerned me. The Renegades game in particular, they looked very shaky indeed. And if I'm being honest, Renegades could have won that. and they probably should have won that. And I think Renegades will be heartbroken that they didn't win that, because they had Mouse against the ropes. And even with Rops, even with players of his caliber, Mouse looked lost at sea a lot of the time, and that worries me coming through into the Legends stage. Now, speaking of the Legends stage, let's get our predictions in for this one. This is really tough. This is way harder than the Challenger stage as far as I was concerned. And I've gone back and forth multiple times on these picks. A pick I think is quite easy is our 0-3. So as ever, we're going to go with 0-3 and our 3-0 picks first. I think EG kind of picked themselves. It hurts to say this because I really rate Cirque very highly. But when you look at EG, you cannot overlook the fact that they have been lackluster for a significant amount of time as it stands. You go back 6-12 months, this team has never really reached the heights that people expect. If you're looking at individuals on this roster, you expect far more from EG, and simply put, they have just not delivered on the promise that this org is capable of. For that reason, they're going to go 0-3. Additionally, let's have a look at the opening matchups, because this will also paint a picture as to what we can expect coming through into the Legends stage. Now, I will put the caveat in that last time I did this, I made my video very early, and then VP with a cheeky little roster change at the end changed up the opening matchups, which kind of caused a lot of confusion for people. Obviously, Sanji was removed and Flip was added into the roster. So hopefully that nothing like that happens again. The opening matchups will be Nip against Mouse, Furia face Astralis, Na'Vi take on Heroic, Vitality up against VP, Liquid take on Entropic, Gambit against Ents, G2 against the Copenhagen Flames, and EG will be doing battle against FaZe. So another reason I'm putting EG as my 0-3 pick is they're against FaZe first, and FaZe looked absolutely unbelievably good in the Challengers stage. I normally go for a gamble pick in my 3-0, and it's very possible this could be seen as a bit of a gamble, because can FaZe keep up that form? Perhaps not. When the chips are down and they're playing against better opposition, maybe they do falter, maybe they do even get knocked out. Maybe Karrigan and Olaf aren't putting up their huge numbers and they will struggle a little bit more. The fact that EG are up against FaZe in the first game, I think FaZe will be off to a 1-0 lead. I think that gives them a huge advantage, and because there are so many teams here that I can see making it through, I'm not going to go for my normal gamble pick. I'm going with FaZe. That's how impressed I was with them, and that's how confident I am that they beat EG in this first game. So FaZe are going to be my 3-0 pick for that reason. Could come back to bite me, but I feel pretty good about that. Now, the next three teams I think are fairly straightforward. You're looking at Na'Vi, you're looking at Gambit, you're looking at Vitality. All three of them are incredibly star-studded rosters. Gambit, of course, have been on a meteoric rise. We all know about Gambit at this point. If you don't know much about Gambit, you haven't been watching Counter-Strike. These guys are powerhouses. Vitality obviously have tons of ability. They're probably, out of these three, the team that I'm less confident with, because sometimes it's a little bit too top heavy on that roster, but I still think they have enough just raw firepower and skill to finesse themselves into the champion stage. This is where it gets a little bit more difficult though after these three picks, because there's a few teams that do pop out to me. I'm going to go with NiP next. Now, this is a little bit of a scary pick, because yes, they've been fantastic. I believe they're like second in the world now in HLTV rankings. I overlooked Copenhagen Flames, even though their recent performances have definitely justified putting them through, because of the lack of experience on their team and because there's a lot of variables that I wasn't sure about. The same could be said for NiP. Yes, you do have Device on there, and obviously he's going to garner a lot of attention and a lot of faith, and for good reason. He's been there and done it multiple times over. But there are some players in this roster I'm a little bit less comfortable with performing now that the pressure has been dialed up to 20. I'm still going to have NiP making it through. I can't overlook their recent performances, but I'm nowhere near as confident about NiP as I am with teams like Na'Vi. Next, we're going to go with Liquid. Yes, Liquid often do let their fans down. They often don't quite get it done, but I think, again, similar to a Vitality, they have more than enough firepower for me to justify putting them through to the champion stage. I definitely think that they could squeak through like 3-2. I don't think this is going to be a 3-0 job from Liquid by any stretch of the imagination. It's going to come down to draw as well, who they get put up against. But I think that Liquid, more often than not, get the job done here, and they do move across. Adren being back at home, I believe either his wife is pregnant or she just gave birth, so obviously he's at home right now, not able to be with the team. Could be a Hampner, because he does do a lot for Liquid, honestly, from the coaching role, but I still have to believe that they're going to get this one done. Now, this is where I could go for some big gamble picks. I'm not going to pick VP. And that's going to be a surprise to some people, because you got your Kindar in there, James obviously, but James really wasn't that impressive to me. Your Kindar was carrying that team pretty hard. Buster had a couple of huge performances as well. Really, really impressive. I think it was Inferno where he dropped like 30 kills. The fact that VPs run through, they went 3-1, which is why some people are like, what are you talking about? VP aren't going to make it. But when you look at who they beat, it's not really that impressive. They beat Pain, Movistar, and Spirit. And that Spirit game, Spirit could have won that. They choked a couple of maps in a row. So VP did not fill me with confidence at all. Additionally, James had a couple of very, very poor performances where if you're up against the Na'Vis of the world, the Vitalities of Zywoo and Simple, he's just getting absolutely peeled back. Like, he's not standing toe-to-toe with those guys whatsoever. I'm going to go with... Oh man, this is tough. This is really tough. Because Heroic have Na'Vi first, so I think they go 0-1. And at that point, they may just get lost in the sauce. Astralis are up against Furia. It is a winnable team. I honestly think that's a 50-50 of a game between Furia and Astralis. Mouse face off against Nip first. It is a winnable game, but I'm not really that blown away. Ent against Gambit, I think they lose that. Copenhagen Flames. Do you know what? I'm putting Copenhagen Flames to make it through. I think G2 are a very beatable team. G2, they're so hot and cold. It's hard for me to justify putting them in. And I think the form that the Copenhagen Flames are in right now, I could see them actually taking G2 down and making it through. I really could. That's how impressed I was with them. I'm gonna back them here. I didn't back them last time. I'm gonna back them this time around. It could be to my detriment, but so be it. If that's the way the chips fall down, that's the way they fall down. Let's have a look at the rest of these teams. I think I have to put Furia or Astralis in as my last pick, because either of those teams is going to be picking up a map here. Oh, this is so difficult, man. So I am going to go with... I'm going to go with Furia. Astralis did not impress me enough in the Challenger stage, and they didn't make me feel that comfortable. They beat teams, but they weren't great teams in the best of threes. I think Lucky is out of his depth. He's a rookie. You can't expect him to be a star player. And I think it's going to be a big detriment. Furia, they're a loose cannon team. They absolutely could bomb out here. I just felt more comfortable going for Furia because of their first pick. I would have gone for Ents, but I think they lose against Gambit. I was thinking of going for Entropic, but they're up against Liquid first off. And I just think G2 are too much of an unknown quantity in my mind in terms of consistency levels, that I'm going to go with Furia instead. Because I could see G2 getting beat off Copenhagen Flames, and that's why I'm going to go with Copenhagen Flames. This is my pickems. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm not sure about this at all. This could be a crash and burn. This could be a stroke of genius. I could end up getting like 8 or something right here, or I could get like 3. I genuinely have no idea what to expect. This is really, really tough. And obviously, you guys are going to be screaming at the screen like, why haven't you put in Mouse or Astralis or Heroic or, you know, VP or one of these other teams? It's like, there's so much ability level here. Like, I just feel this is the right choice. What did you pick? Comment in the section below. Let me know. And I'll see you in the next video. I'm not sure about this one, guys. This is tough. Well, it's locked in now.